Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cleveland Pulse YouTube channel. It's Jeffrey, your host. I have Logan with me and a special guest. It is Zach from Across the Cavs over on Twitter, part of the Network 216 family. What's going on, Zach? We love talking to new people who we find on the Twitterverse, on the YouTube scene. So it's going to be a good episode today. We're going to get your, pick your brain a little bit, talk about Cavs off season, talk about Cavs summer league, and hey, finals, last night, what a good game. Just start us off there, kind of introduce yourself and just tell us how you're feeling after that game last night.
Yeah, Jeffrey, thank you. Logan, great to be with you guys tonight. Yeah, Zach Weiss, host of Across the Cavs, coming up on year 5. Been a pleasure, 158 episodes later. Wow. Had some great guests. Gonna have Rafael Hernandez Brito, the Cavs Spanish announcer, on. So his be a second appearance.
Nice.
Tells best stories. He tells the best stories. So stay tuned Thursday. Probably going to release a little after 3:00.
Okay. All of his links will be in the description. Go check them out.
Yes.
We love promoting other Cavs channels, so go hit them up.
And yeah, dude, I will say I've never been a big summer league guy. I did make time to watch the first game because I felt like, and I'm sure you guys were the same, it's a really nice content opportunity when you have the summer league because the regular season and the playoffs end and they're not playing and we're trying to find new ways to connect, whether it's asking regular questions, who's your favorite this, who's your favorite that. And if you follow me, you'll see I do every day. I do birthdays, transactions, anything that's happened on a given day, but there's only so much to do. So I've loved summer league. It's given me a lot of good opportunities to actually connect with people again and get more opinions and just see what's going on with the players. So Cavs winning the title was amazing. Did watch the 2 playoff games. Amani looks very solid. I think by the end of the season, he could be getting minutes in the rotation. I think Isaiah Mobley is proving. And yes, it's only summer league. Will not go too crazy, but he should.
They will anyway.
No, yeah, they will.
Everyone's gonna go crazy anyway.
I would have loved to see this guy playing 5 or 10 minutes in those games against the Knicks, just giving some kind of big body against Mitch, right? But Merrill's great. I don't care that he's 27. Still has at least 10 to 12 NBA years left. I think he could be a nice backup piece if Strus, Niang, Jerome Rubio, any of them struggle. And Craig Porter. We go from Delhi to Dean Wade to Lamar Stevens and now Porter. We just keep getting undrafted gems this last 12 years. It's fair beautiful. Enough. It's beautiful. Beautiful, man. I love it. A new one every year almost now.
Honestly, the last thing you could say about Cavs fans is that like we're a casual group of people because honestly, nobody else will have you like convinced that all these rotational pieces in the summer league roster are going to make an impact or have the potential to do this or could fit somewhere on the squad. Logan, you weren't able to make the pregame live stream last night. It's all right. We talked with Justin. He can't make it on tonight. So good little trade-off. Just give us, I want to hear how, I think the NBA is just doing a better job. The draft, and then it's right into summer league. I think that they've had kind of a struggle with the offseason where either it's the most important part of the year because everybody moves every offseason and it's fun to watch transactions, people asking for trades, people getting big money, but it's like a perfect storm here for the Cavs. You draft Emoni Bates, low risk, high ceiling, high reward type of draft selection at 49. And then you get to see him right in the summer league. Just go on with your thoughts.
Yeah, I agree with you. When it comes to the basketball season, I always feel like the NBA season feels really fast. I feel like football kind of goes slow sometimes. Baseball, it's been slow since the dawn of time. But like, I really do think basketball, I was kind of missing it because it always kind of just comes and goes. I feel like we were just talking about getting Donovan Mitchell and now we're sitting here like, gosh, we lost in 5 games to the Knicks. And so it was refreshing turning on summer league. And I think I will always watch the first game of any summer league. I watched the first summer league when Kay Felder and Jordan McRae were leading the way. I was so excited to see this 5'9" guy who could pass like no other and score. And we all saw that turned out. Emoni Bates is different. I think to me, the 3 players that I'm most impressed with, and I don't want anybody to get upset about this, it's Mobley, it's Bates, and it's Craig Porter Jr. Sam Merrill, don't get me wrong. Dude can shoot. I do think he could really help us. But this is the thing with me. What I enjoyed about watching the summer league is those 3 guys are 3 guys that give us a different look that we didn't have last year. So if you're going to go out and draft Max Strus, you're going to go out and draft George Niang, what does Sam Merrill bring that's a little bit different? I think that's the argument to be made if you're talking like who are guys that really deserve minutes or can find their way to the rotation on any given day. To me, Emoni Bates is that ISO scorer that you need, the standstill 3-point shooter. Craig Porter Jr. is a guy that you look and realize, holy crap, he has 9, 7, and 7 just filling up the stat sheet. Like that's the kind of player you want on your bench and a guy who can really, really defend. And then Isaiah Mobley, I mean, flat out, we didn't have a backup big last year. Now I'm kind of interested in this Damian Jones guy. I watched him a little bit, back when he was at the Warriors. I saw him a little bit with the Lakers. There's nothing like totally outstanding about him, but I do think in a Cavaliers offense, he could be successful. If not, though, I like the look of Isaiah Mobley. And I think I even like Mobley over, our current backup big. I will always love brothers on the same team. I always think that's really cool. I love the attitude he brings. Again, these three guys just give you a different look, and they're all viable opportunities to see some minutes this year.
And honestly, I mean, you're just so far down the end of your bench. Like, I think that it's important to say, like, hey, these guys could be good depth pieces, but you're also, and it's weird because we've gone to such an analytical culture, such a numbers culture, but you're looking for the intangibles with the last guy you're carrying on the roster, this last two guys you're carrying on the roster, almost like an aura, like an atmosphere. Like, do they have that, even small percentage of it factor that you could really work with? So it is interesting. I don't think it's as cut and dry as like, hey, this is the best player for this, or this is the best player for that. I think that there's some work to be done as far as the job of Kobe Altman and of course JB when it comes to actually implementing whoever is selected for the roster moving into the season. But Zach, I thought you made an interesting point. Let's bring it back to Sam Merrill kind of and tie it together with the offseason. I'm curious to hear, give the Cavs offseason a grade, just a letter grade for how did you feel that everything went, whether it be Strus, Niang, Ty Jerome, Damian Jones, everybody all encompassing. And then what was your favorite move after you give that letter grade?
Yeah, so I'm going to go B+. I think it's not an A just because you don't get any stars.
Fair.
You get guys that are just below that tier of they can make an impact every night. With Strus, he'll have his good days, he'll have his bad. I mean, it's like that with everybody. But you want guys that can consistently average 15 plus points, that can play 25 minutes every night reliably, which you didn't have. Whether that was JB's fault or someone else's fault, Jetty could never consistently play 25 minutes a night when we needed it. Lamar Stevens as well. It's been the case with Dean, as he's dealt with injuries these last couple of seasons. But B+, because you needed shooting. Who are Don and Darius going to pass the ball to in the big moments? Outside of the Brooklyn three, we've never seen Isaac Okoro really play well. And yes, it did happen. We acknowledge it. It was amazing. But Okoro still can't be relied on for that. You might have him in for defense, but you'll pull him if you have a timeout situation. I like Niang because though he's never been to a conference finals, the pitfalls of Utah and Philly, Don had the same problem. He's played with Mitchell. It's another guy he's friendly with. If you're worried about the long-term status, you bring him and you bring back his childhood friend and teammate from AAU, Ty Jerome, who just spent time with the Thunder after time with the Splash, just spent time with the Splash Bros after being in OKC. You're bringing in two guys that have been part of winning cultures, which I think was missing last year. Max Strus just went to the damn finals. They were 3 wins away from a title as an 8 seed. You want an underdog story, you're bringing in a guy that was a huge part of that. So it's not an A. Again, none of them are stars. And Damian Jones has finals experience with the Warriors. He wasn't around for very long with them, but he spent part of last year with the Lakers, finished up with the Jazz. So he teamed up with all the old Cavs. So him and Donovan can talk about Utah together. I think for that, it's great. And I'll finish out the additions. I feel like you have to include the draft guys as well.
Sure.
Merrill should end up with a guaranteed contract to start the season because of his summer play. It's hard to not have a shooter like that around, no matter who you brought in. It'll be great for practice. He won a title with the Bucks already, let's remember. Then him getting cut by the Kings is what even led us here. Dellavedova makes the Kings roster. I add to my Dellavedova jersey repertoire by getting Sacramento. And Merrill comes to Cleveland. It's a win-win-win-win. It's good for everybody, and now we have a shooter that could potentially make a serious impact. And I'll finish with Amani Bates, Mobley, Porter. I don't think you need to sign anybody else. I mean, I'd love like a trend in Watford. Any of these young bigs that got cut. I was high on any of them coming here and just competing with Jones and Isaiah Mobley for a backup spot. But any two of Porter, Bates, Mobley should have regular roster spots to begin the year, honestly. And then you can pick up, probably not Nance, maybe you could debate Sharif Cooper or Bothwell or someone else for a two-way spot. Let these guys get regular reps so they can practice all the time and be ready. Because I believe they're going to get 15 active players a night for the first time this season since the COVID year. So this being the first time for the league gives you a lot of incentive to give them more reps, even if it's at the end of the bench. during the regular season.
Yeah, because we carried that open roster spot last year. So you think they're actually gonna just round out the roster and hold 15 and not 14 with the open?
Yeah, I would go 15, and you can always trade. You can always offload a Rubio and just get a future pick or something, or guy you can cut. There's a couple of guys. You can move a Damian Jones if it's not working out. There's so many things you can do. I don't think they need to leave it open. And also, I think Merrill becomes guaranteed for the season, but if for some reason that doesn't work out, they have so many small contracts they could just move and open or just cut for cheap.
Right.
So that December 15th date, I think, is for a lot of guys. So by then we'll know. I don't think they need to keep it open.
There is a lot of mobility at the back end of the roster, obviously, but that's kind of where you have to find, like, not your impact guy, but you have an opportunity to make one of those guys maybe work and maybe see some viable minutes in the postseason or even in the regular season, where just see what you have. I mean, we have an opportunity to experiment. It's not like this is the second year of Donovan Mitchell coming in here, being a part of this system. I know you have to incorporate other guys like Strus, like Niang, like Ty Jerome, Damian Jones, obviously. And then some of these summer league guys obviously have been with you outside of Amani Bates. But what sold me there the most, Zach, is that what I heard from your summary after the B+ grade was that this team kind of, in a short period of time in the offseason, kind of matured like overnight, as far as experience, as far as the playoffs, as far as Strus being in the finals, as far as, Damian Jones playing with the Warriors, same way with Ty Jerome. So I think that's an interesting point. That's a good selling point on what Koby Altman has done this off season. Logan, I know we've talked about it a little bit, but anything that resonated with you right there from what Zach said?
I mean, first of all, George Niang has the coolest nickname in all of the NBA, the minivan. I just want to say
okay,
that.
I'm a casual. Why is this his nickname?
It's his body type.
Yeah, he's big. He's a big guy.
You can't describe his body any other way but saying he looks like a minivan.
Okay, that doesn't make it as cool.
Get him in the ring.
I thought he was like driving a minivan before, like he made.
Well, I know like the Jazz Twitter
something.
account had like funny memes that they'd be like, I don't know. They had memes. Like,
I guess like where did Spida come from? I guess I don't really know.
The second thing that resonated with me is any person who's a fan of Matthew Dellavedova is a friend of mine.
That's true.
Wait, what?
Didn't you talk about Delly?
Yeah. Wait, you talking about there's a personal Delly connection in here? Is that what I
thought? Oh yeah, dude. I love Delly. Always will. When we brought him back,
Delly's a legend.
2018. No, 2019.
I was broadcasting basketball at the time he got traded, and the only time I've ever been told to get off your phone and call the game in all the years I've been doing that trade happened. I was stunned.
How many jerseys do you have of Delly?
That's what I need to know.
Bucks, Cavs, Kings, Australia. I had a sneaker and I have 2 T-shirts.
I totally should get an Australia jersey.
It's beautiful.
I was thinking like how many NBA teams, and he goes Australia jersey. Okay.
Yeah, that's nuts. And by Donovan Mitchell, quick friends and former teammates' father. They liked his ability to get steals, and his long arms. The way he moved was like a spider.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm sure there's a background to everything. But Logan, go on.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said my favorite addition was Max Strus because it was the easy answer, but I do believe that Niang is actually the more valuable is not the word. It's maybe fit wise. I do like what you guys are saying, that they really did mature a lot. You're having guys that have actually been there. Lamar Stevens, I'm sorry, you haven't been there. Like you got literally 5 minutes of run in one series, whether that was JB's fault or not. That's not experience. Cedi Osman rode the bench the whole time. Like, I need guys who had like real, true playoff experiences and guys who don't usually fold in the playoffs. Granted, you could say Strus struggled in the finals, but you can't tell me that he wasn't a huge part of getting them there. So that's a big thing for me. I really think George Niang is a guy that he's just so even keeled. He's going to knock down 3-pointers. He's going to be scrappy. He's going to kind of be a little bit of a pest. He's not like a great defender, but he's one of those, pesky type of players. So I do believe Niang is definitely an underrated pickup, and I think he needs to see a lot of minutes. It's a tough rotation to figure out, but
it is.
Losing Cedi and losing Lamar Stevens, at the very least, you have true viable options. You know what you're going to get from them every night. Like I said, like Zach said, obviously Strus has his days and doesn't have his days, but I'm trusting him over, say, Cedi. And that sucks. I love Cedi, always will love Cedi, but when it comes down to basketball and the way it is, that's the way you got to have guys that you can at least trust. Whoever plays that night, leave it up to JB.
Right. And hope the coach, ends up giving that trust to
follow
his
the
players.
Trend, follow what's right. Follow, all that. Because we know JB's fantastic at that.
Well, we know the rotation is going to be tough because you got a lot of guys kind of in the 6, 7, 8 range, maybe not the 6 range. You're assuming Levert is, first off the bench, if he's not a starter. But then after that, it's like Niang, Okoro, and there's obviously a lot of competition right there for.
There, it's pretty open.
Yeah. After that, I mean, there's only so many minutes to go around, as far as the basketball game. A couple more talking points here. Zach, you mentioned a couple of younger, big men for maybe that 15th spot. Christian Wood, interested or not really?
Yeah, honestly, so I was thinking every guy that got cut at the time the Cavs have a need for an opening, like, just sign him. But I'd be open. He's been a locker room issue. He's never spent more than a year with the same team. Like
that is
Houston,
fair.
Dallas, Detroit, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, a couple others. I think the issue with him, whatever it is, I don't know how serious he is about it. It's great when you have your come up, you make the league, you sign your first big deal. But whatever it is, he's been around. I don't know if it's the cultures he's been around or his attitude or something else, because we're not talking directly to him. We all assume. A lot of this we assume, and we hope we're right. But I'd love to see it work out, but clearly something happened. He joined the Dallas team that was 3 wins from the finals. And then I know he's not the reason they flopped. Maybe it was his usage. It was a lot of factors. But I want to know more about why he was only playing 20 minutes a lot of nights, not even starting. They're giving Dwight Powell minutes ahead of him. They're giving no disrespect to our guy who could also come back as an option, JaVale McGee. They're giving him reps ahead of him. What the hell was going on? I'd be down, though. He can space the floor. He can shoot. I would want one of Mobley or Allen with him on the court still if he plays. If it's the second half. First half, you experiment, you see. But he can shoot. I think he's a decent enough passer. And I think that him being someone's like 27, 28, he's not too old yet. I think it might be older than that. How old do we know? Do we have an age on?
I don't think he's that much older.
Christian Wood is 27. Yeah. So he's not too old. I think he fit in with the culture. I think that one thing the Cavs have with Donovan now, I think him and maybe even Darius, they're very accepting of the guys. They have a great locker room culture. So I think for that's my only concern with him is locker room culture. And I think we have a great one with the chain. And behind closed doors, it seems everyone likes each other. There's no drama and everyone has each other's back. So for that, why not? If you can get him,
I think would round out the roster.
I think there's something going on in the background though. When he appeared in 67 games last year, he averaged 16.6 points per game, and he's still not on an NBA roster. I think there's definitely basically confirmed internal information that he doesn't work on his craft, this, that, and the other thing. Obviously, mostly assumptions, like Zach said, but I think that could be a testament to JB's kind of coaching style. I think you see him get people to buy in, and I think that can even go to somebody who you're more nervous about on the defensive end of the basketball, like an Amani Bates. How does he fit into the culture? How does he fit into the rotation if he's kind of just a free bucket on defense? But I think that his defense improved in the summer league, and I think that JB's the type of guy to kind of get people on board, if that's how you want to put it. But go ahead.
I want to say one more thing about Amani too. There's rumblings of he's not a good teammate. He's only interested in himself. I'll tell you the one thing I didn't like about him and the one thing that surprised me about him.
Okay.
The one thing I didn't love is I did see him stand around quite a bit. When he got the ball, he'd get very active. But to be fair, that's probably going to be his role on the main roster. But that's neither here nor there. That's not a huge deal. Something that bothers me too much. The thing that surprised me, I guess there's two things. One was, like you said, effort defensively. If I can see effort, that's all I really need to see. But two, great teammate. I mean, every single bucket, he was the loudest one talking. If it wasn't Isaiah Mobley, I feel like it was Bates next up. Either talking the crap or hyping up his teammate, always helping guys off the ground. I that's what I guess surprised me. And believe me, that's unfair. That's, again, assumptions, right? I buy into whatever someone tells me about a prospect. This guy's not a great teammate. He's not that interested in anything but himself. And I was like, put that aside. He's got talent.
That's easy for a headline, though, for a story.
100%, because everyone will read it. But in that, I guess I fell for that. But what I did see in that summer league is he really could be a great teammate. And if he just works his butt off, plays his role, he could really be effective for this team.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Rounding out here, Zach, we do appreciate your time. I know that you do have to run here shortly. However, you are very, you're very well read, so to say, very informational. Got a great memory. That's what we noticed. So I kind of want to hear some projections from you. Logan, I'm just going to have you react, because me and you and Justin are going to do our own projections. And these are way too early projections, but The Cavs
Love
won
projections.
51 games last year, 51 and 31.
Called by me. Called by me.
This is true. You did call that right on the nose. But I've seen projections as far as, betting lines or just people that are making projections, the Cavs I've seen from 48 wins to like 49, 50 win mark this upcoming season. Zach, I'm curious to hear how you feel about that. Would you say over that 48, 49 win threshold, or is that like a pretty good marker? Or I just want to hear your thoughts in general.
So I think health's going to be the biggest factor. That's my the prereq to making a prediction, because
Sure.
Darius missed 8 straight games to start last season after getting poked in the opener by a certain Gary Trent. And the Cavs went 8-0. I don't know how. I don't know. I'm still kind of shocked. Donovan Mitchell turned into the best point guard in the league for about 2 weeks, filling in that role. So I think that taught us that he can do what it takes to win. He doesn't have to be the scorer. He could also be the facilitator. So if both of these guys can play 75 games and you figure out your bench situation and there's consistency in the rotation, everyone knows the role. There's no more Jetty Osman in. Oh, no, Jetty Osman out. Lamar starts. Oh, Lamar out. There's no Dean in.
Play at all.
Figure that out. Get your roster consistent, understand who's going to play, and make sure you're grooming your younger guys to be ready for any possible situation where you're getting blown out. Because you never know when a Dante Exum scoring 28 points in short order is going to happen. I remember that game well, and you never know. And it stinks they lost. They peaked too early.
Mm-hmm.
But you never know when that's going to happen. When Sam Merrill turns a summer league performance into an NBA performance. I mean, he's been around the Bucks. He's been around some great scorers and shooters. He's learned a lot already. And obviously, just watching Bucks behind the scenes content that year, he seems like he was a great fit. Everyone plays their role. JB does his job. And obviously a bad start could be an in-season firing for sure. There's definitely going to be some pressure on him. But that's for another time. That's more feelings from the immediate feelings from the end of last season. I think around 50. I don't know if I see them winning more games. I know they got better, but I still think it's going to be tough. I know that the rest of the East got a little worse. Philly's going to be losing Harden soon for what we don't know. Brooklyn will be a little worse. I think the Knicks might take a slight step up. The Magic are better.
Where does Dame end up? A lot of questions.
Exactly. Dame ends up in the East. You got the Knicks. Miami, I think, is going to take a step up this year when all things end up being done. Other teams, the Celtics, I think they're going to lose some games to contenders, win some they're not supposed to. So I think around 47 to 50 should be a top 4. I'd love to see a top 2, top 3. So maybe get 2 rounds of home court. But look, just get top 6 and I'll be happy. There's no number I'd be disappointed with as long as they are a top 6 team. The East is hard. Things can change. And just being a regular playoff team without LeBron, for me, is showing that we're in a positive Cavs era without him for the first time in 3 decades.
The NBA is just better, right? I mean, nowadays you win 56 games. That might be good enough to win your conference outright. I mean, I remember back when LeBron was in Miami, it was like the 66 win teams and the 60 win teams and the 58 win teams. Hell, we were a 1 seed at 57 and 25. I think that not one in 2016, but I do think those numbers are just not going to be as big of a thing anymore. It seems to be the last 2 or 3 years packed in like from 3 to 6. It's usually packed with every team that's anywhere between 47 to 50. So, you could say like, oh yeah, we're good enough to win 54 games. The NBA is weird. There's
exactly.
Really
you're going to have your off nights. You're going to have your Davion Mitchell off night. You're going to have some of those.
Yeah.
That's the best nickname in the league. Off night. Easy. It's going to happen.
Well, Zach,
I hope everyone learned something. All these nicknames.
Yes. This is an informative show here on the Cleveland Pulse. And if you want to learn more, go over to Twitter, follow Zach across the Cavs, part of the Network 216 company, good guys over there. We appreciated your time. Appreciated talking with you. Anything else before we wrap up today?
Yeah, thank you, Jeffrey. Any chance to talk about Dellavedova is amazing. I will say, I thought maybe as soon as I saw the Kings weren't renewing him, I knew he was a free agent. I'm like, just do it. Bring him back one more time. He looked playable 2 years ago. 3 years ago.
Champion.
Yeah, he's a champ. He's great in Australia. He's going to be great in FIBA. I think he's playing. And that's no New Jersey for this year. So kind of sad, but he signed in the NBL literally 2 days after he left the Kings, before the playoffs were even over. So wish him luck, and I hope he gets one more crack in the NBA so I can get the 5 jerseys. So I can have a starting lineup of jerseys to give the 4 guys I played ball with one time. The Delis.
Fair enough.
That's what we
Shout out Delhi Cavs legend. Shout out Zach. Appreciate you coming on. If you guys have been watching this long, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment down below. Who else should we talk to? Should we have Zach back? I think that's going to be a resounding yes. Great conversation. Really appreciate it. And with that being said, we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.